Well, the issues that have been apparently leaked from the Freedom Caucus plan, they want to cut the corporate tax rate, as you do, to 16%, double the standard deduction for individuals, abandon revenue neutrality, the dogma that tax reform must worsen currently projected deficits. So what about that? Does the plan need to be deficit neutral?
Well, Maria, we've said all along that, we're very focused on the size of the debt has grown from 10 trillion to 20 trillion. So we want to be financially responsible. But we've been very clear that we believe we can get to 3% GDP. That will add trillions of dollars of revenues. So the discussion is clearly under our projections, this will absolutely be revenue neutral. The question is under the joint tax numbers, which will have lower scoring, what we get to. And that will be one of the things that the committees will have input on. And we have levers that can move the plan to adjust it. We would like to get the corporate rate as low as we can. The president has repeatedly said since the campaign, ideally we'd get it down to 15%. I'm not sure we'll get it all the way there, but we're going to try what we can do. And we will make sure we have a competitive business rate when we get tax reform passed.
If you can't get an agreement on the deductions, because there are some people who are going to say, look, there's no way I can vote for something that eliminates the deduction on state income, for example. If you don't get those kinds of agreements, would you be happy with just cutting taxes?
Maria, I think we've said our objective is to do comprehensive tax reform. It hasn't been done in 31 years. That's our objective, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically speaking, you think you can come up with you think you can have agreement in the next 12 days? I mean, what are you talking about? You're talking about the year end? You're talking about before Thanksgiving? What's the timeline?
Maria, we're talking about between now and year end, and I think that's realistic. Again, things can change. A lot of things can occur. There's major hurricanes. There's big issues that people are focused on. Our objective is to get this done. We don't need to set a specific date. We're going to get this done as quickly as we can, and our objective is still to get it done this year.
Let me ask you, people are really questioning why we're so married to the CBO scoring, Secretary Mnuchin. I mean, we were just talking with Mary Kissel from the editorial board of the Journal, and she says, will they ditch the CBO scoring already and come up with your own scoring? You have your own scoring already in Treasury. What's your take on this? Because this is what keeps getting the skeptics, alive and resonating with the American people, that the CBO score says it doesn't make sense, it doesn't add up, we can't afford it.
Well, let me be clear. I'm not married to their scoring at all. Matter of fact, we have 100 people in Treasury that do our own scoring, and we'll have our own assumptions. So, there are people that will look at the CBO scoring. There are people that have different views as to how it should score. One of the things I've talked about is we have the current baseline versus the current policy. I think to the extent we roll over the current policy every year, that's something we should be scoring to, and that's $450 billion difference. So let's not kid ourselves just because we roll this over every year thinking that we need to score otherwise. And these are the types of issues we are talking to the members about, and we're reaching consensus on.
Yeah, I think you make a really important point there, but I mean, I'm wondering if anything really has changed at this point after yesterday's meeting, Secretary Mnuchin. I mean, are you worried about a GOP revolt? Are you worried at this point that come December, the Democrats have all the leverage? They may very well say, we're not going to agree to cutting taxes on the rich by 1 penny. And we all know that if you don't cut taxes on the highest earners, you're not for cutting taxes, because the highest earners pay all the taxes, Secretary. Isn't that right?
Maria, I'm not worried about any GOP revolt at all. We've been meeting with them on the tax plan. We have an understanding on this tax plan. We're moving forward on this tax plan. That's something that we're very focused on doing, and that's something we're working with the leadership on every day. And I hope we have Democrats that come across the aisle and support tax reform.
Are you saying that nothing changed from yesterday? The Democrats do not have more leverage come December?
I think as far as taxes, the thing that occurred yesterday was we cleared the next 90 days to have more room to focus on taxes. So I think that was a big win, and I couldn't be more hopeful. And the President and I are focused on selling this to the American people, why this is good for the economy and why we need this. We have to create economic growth, and that's what this is all about. And I expect that we will have Democrats that understand that and come along and vote with us on this.
So will they push back on cutting taxes on everybody?
Maria, that's up for them to decide as we go through this process.
Well,
but
it's
we have
important
a
because
plan that we think makes sense.
Oh, I know, and you do have a plan that makes sense. We've been talking about it all year, but the American people just want to see it executed. And I'm just wondering if that execution, come December, hits a wall.
I don't think so, Maria. Again, I'll say it 3 more times. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Let me ask you, Secretary, the Journal this morning is reporting that President Trump is unlikely to nominate Gary Cohn to become the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Do you think he will stay in the administration if he doesn't get that nomination?
Maria, first of all, the president hasn't made any decisions as it relates to the Federal Reserve, and it would be inappropriate for me to make any comments about the Federal Reserve process as we go through it.
Right. Secretary, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.